there's a lot to talk about.
Just a bit.
Since we last convened.
Only Friday.
I know, but that's the way the world is going at this moment in time. You know, as I said, we are here to do the Lord's work. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. And lo and behold, unbeknownst to me, we've had the first in my lifetime that I can remember here, terrorist attack on a synagogue by middle-aged white men.
I know, yeah. It's nuts, innit? Eating fish and chips.
See, I thought he was... It was a strange name for a middle-aged white man to call himself Jihad al-Shami. But, you know, the word jihad has many names. And also, as Kate Garraway on Good Morning Britain, you know, you don't know... We just don't know the motive or the religion of the guy. It's like... We just ran over.
We actually do.
Just ran over and stabbed a couple of Jewish people on the Yom Kippur, like one of their holiest days, outside the synagogue.
Wearing a suicide belt.
Or a fake one. And
he blew it up, didn't he?
He was. Sorry, Kate. I don't know whether you know this. He was actually on bail. All right. What was he on bail for? Not shoplifting. No, not a shoplifting.
88.
So you had a fella.
I think there's been a peep up there.
You can't say that. You get tick with bat already.
Banned off TikTok.
Off TikTok for
hate speech.
Hate speech, yeah. Hate speech for telling the truth. So, yeah, it's strange old times, and I'm not really sure how Gary's going to explain this one away.
Well, you explain it for him.
Well, I'm saying, I mean, in his obviously isolated, you know, the world he lives in, he's in the kind of ivory tower position of, you know, shuttled into a Sky studio, back behind the wall in whatever, you know, sprawling estate he's got. They're saying he's worth between 50 and 70 million quid. People are telling me that Overlap earns all them 20 grand a pop. You know, they're sponsored by Arnie now, so surely Arnie's going to be delighted with Gary saying that, because I would imagine their target audience is kind of white middle-class men.
It's not fellas called Jihad anyway, is it?
Well, it's definitely not fellas called Jihad. White middle-class men called Jihad. I can't imagine there being that many of them around. But Gary's got himself, as I say, into this virtue signalling nonsense. And when I look into it, I mean, the Klaus Schwab popping himself up in the World Economic Forum, popping himself up in Davos. You remember him a while back when fucking David Beckham was getting honoured for being able to tie his shoelaces?
You can't even spell Economic Forum.
Well, you remember when Beckham done the big ass kissing to get the World Economic Forum, and we know that the Beckhams have had, you know, the state banquet with the Qataris, and you know, there's a lot of people who are saying, look, the Qataris have been responsible for causing chaos with the money and the donations that they've given to propaganda arms of certain sections of Islamic rhetoric. Now, in the UK, we've somehow got ourselves embroiled where on the streets of our country every single weekend there's a standoff between police and protesters. And I'm hearing that there's actually, you know, not only was the attack on the Jewish community heinous crime, but then people were out protesting or celebrating that night, and people were protesting the next day. You know, we had a number of arrests for people clashing with the police outside of Whitehall.
70 odd arrests.
Yeah, well, certainly a lot more than what had gone to the kind of Unite the Kingdom rally and the Unite the Kingdom march. And after that, you know, you had 25 people, I think, arrested at that march. I think 19 of them were connected with it. You had certain politicians pop up and say, you know, the far right, we have to be careful to guide against the far right and you know, the dangers of the far right. And then we have this pillock, Neville. Now, he's crossed over with me because, as I said to him in Rio last night, look, I'm more than welcome to debate both of you. Let's roll for 2 hours, discuss any topic. Gary, you've sat in a room with me when we did the Edge podcast. I'm not, you know, don't need to be scared of me, but intellectually, I think you've got a lot to answer for here. You're a lad from Bury who has not once mentioned the grooming scandal that's affected not only your area, but lots of those surrounding the areas. You've also been at Davos where you were asked that and you said about, no care about politics. You pretended to not know that Donald Trump had been elected as the US president, the 47th US president for the second time. So, you know, you said you were there to talk about something, you know, somebody's tweeted, and maybe the chat will tell us, this Costello thing, which is maybe something to do with lining your own pockets again, you fucking money-grabbing little whore. Oh, the Qataris, you know, but you still popped up out there and took the hush money, didn't you? You know, you've got all these human rights things, and the lads on Have I Got News For You obviously tore you a new arsehole over that, because you sat and squealed and done that stupid little laugh that you do, your little fucking weasel laugh that you did to the same guy from Rebel News. I don't think it was Ezra Levant, but it was a guy from Rebel News who obviously doorstepping people at Davos. And again, you know, Gary was hanging out the arse of Sir David when David obviously had to just do his final bit of ring kissing, final bit of fucking, by showing he could read and write in a sentence, which he very, very rarely, you know, he actually did struggle to do that. And just to flip on to Beckham, because I seen Beckham this week was doing a video. It was a fella who I think's a bit of an uphill gardener, who's a Crystal Palace fan, HL CTO or something like that. He's here in the city or something, but I've obviously given it to him in tight in the past before, but he actually did put a bit of good content up this week. I don't follow him just because I've been giving him a bit of shit over the years, that he's obviously on the algorithm, and he put Beckham listening to his goal back against Greece on the commentary.
Okay.
Right? And it's, you know, it's just a male commentator. You know who it is. As soon as you hear the voice, you'll know who it is. But there's no noise, no squeaking, no squawking in the background from somebody trying to justify the position. It's just a man describing what he's seeing and doing it expertly. And you can, Beckham's obviously smiling about it and all that. So it was nice to see. But I said, that's the thing. Our kids and their kids might get access to this now. Because every single time we've got a big seagull who shouldn't be there going, you go, what the fuck you just said? Fuck off. Should be on the fucking ear talking fucking shit. So turn me telly on Saturday morning. I'm getting ready. The wind's blowing, storm fucking Ava or whatever it is. So loads of the footies off. I had played in that. I'm just going to say, the win by ours. There's a couple in this room here who've chickened out Saturday. Had a big derby and have bowed out for the international break.
What am I supposed to do about that?
You have to play. You have to get that game on.
You just have to phone your gaff and say, stop being a big fanny. Let's get the game on.
Leeds and Spurs played.
The ref?
All the teams in the footy league got on with
that was fully game.
FA VAR's got on with it.
Was it on grass?
On grass, on the Parklands pitch. Pitch was rock hard. I don't know. I don't think it was the rain, honestly. I reckon it must be in the window or something. But
so anyway, I get the bets on Saturday, and as avid followers of the channel, and I find out we've got another big celebrity follower.
Yeah.
And listen, if any of you fucking want it with him, just fucking let me know, and I'll get in touch with him. He's possibly the hardest man on the island. I'd go as far as I say he could be one of the hardest men on the planet. Hopefully John Jones.
If he wins his next fight, I'd say that.
You'll flatten Silogan.
No, I mean, sorry.
Listen, Silogan's Paris Saint-Germain anyway, so Paris on 10 cool.
No, but if he fight, I think John Jones a bit getting on a bit now, isn't he?
But lad, John Jones is the man, and he's been the man for a long time. It would be nice to see him fight. But yeah, go on. Yeah, so Tom Aspinall, we're hearing Tom. So Tom, I know you're preparing for the fight. Big fan of the podcast, I'm hearing. Be great to have you on one day. But again, good luck against Silogan.
You're not watching on the UFC.
Keep doing it, lad. I'll be watching it, lad. I just watched the UFC from the weekend there. Proton, Alex Pereira, unbelievable against
was it 90
lad, he was good. And it was a great fight between Khalil Roundtree and Yari Prochazka.
Let's get Gary Neville in there in that ring with them. Let's see what happens to him.
Lad, he couldn't even hit him. But he's a twerp, isn't he? When you go through it, like I remember him doing the party political broadcast with Starmer. And, you know, he's obviously hitched himself to that wagon. Now, he's said nothing since. Let's be honest here. Starmer and his government are a laughing stock. Yeah. They go from... Go on, open them. They go from debacle to debacle, week to week. Just seems to get worse and worse and worse for them. Now, they're in a horrible position because I do think we've got this rising communism, like this like faux communism, neo-communism, that like they actually don't have a clue what's going on. And they've kind of forgotten that every single time communism and Marxism has been used, lots of people have died. Like, it just doesn't work to give the state that much control. Like, okay, yeah. You know, digital ID. So this WEF, these are these people that talk about this Klaus Schwab, who talks about you'll own nothing and be happy.
Yeah.
Okay? So the pillars of their, obviously, takeover are, you know, technology merging with digital, merging with the biology, so to get us all to have these digital IDs. And every time you dig into it, somebody somewhere in there is making a few shilling. Now, I don't think Gary Neville has thought about who are his audience. Because I'm looking at it going, you've just said people who like the Union Jack, people who are patriotic to show their country's flag, in this instance, the country he's from and has represented 85 times at international...
People with a certain skin colour.
International level. So just factor in it if he'd said, you know, somebody with brown skin or somebody with black skin or somebody... Like, there'd be an absolute outrage about it, especially when the actual person that he's talking about committing the attack was brown, and it was called a certain name and had a nationality that is not of this country.
What about you? But I had to go to school with anyone called Jihad.
Well, not only that,
Jihad's in hiding.
You know, he knows Jamie Carragher, so he'd be fully aware of what happened in Southport with Axel Rabdukana, whatever his name is, and his, religious beliefs.
Yeah.
Also, he knows what's happened in the Manchester Arena at Ariana Grande concert.
On his doorstep again.
Again, was that middle-aged white males? Because I looked, and I think it was like since 2000 or something. I'll dig the tweet out.
Yeah,
since 2000, there's been far-right extremists across the globe have committed 475 acts or incidents, where religious extremism from Islam has committed 470 odd thousand incidents in the same time frame. So it's completely disproportionate, and every single time something like this happens, they go, yeah, but that's not all Muslims. Yeah, it's not all Muslims. And have we seen large Muslim celebrities or people with big followings come out and condemn this? Have we seen it? Like, they say, oh yeah, sorry to hear about that. And you're seeing Shabana Mahmood, the Home Secretary, who has been at multiple events that show her not to be fit for the job because of a natural bias she would have to have had to have supported what she supported in the past. I'm not saying she's a bad person, but I'm saying you can't have it. It's almost like having a Liverpool supporter referee in a Liverpool game. You go...
Well, according to that happens every week.
Yeah, but actually this blatant. You're going, oh yeah, she's definitely from a part of the world that is going to support a certain part of that argument. So I don't think it's the best person if they're not,
well, it's happened
bipartisan. If you're not country first, if you're not for Britain first, then I don't think you should sit at this crucial junction in our society where we've got, the Jewish community fearful for their lives because on every fucking street corner there seems to be lots of pro-Palestinian, which by slight default, whether you like it or not, is seen from the Jewish community as pro-Hamas.
Yeah, it does, yeah. So, we know it's not, but I mean, it is. It's not all, but you can understand the Jewish community's angle on it. It's once bitten, twice shy. They're not going to just go and try and play chicken with these.
Hillbilly John's just put on there, I'm just reading the chat here because obviously the lads are getting me on that now. Hillbilly John just put on, Neville would have been a prefect at school.
Joe was a hall monitor.
Come on. Been watching too much Saved by the Bell. Didn't have a hall monitor. Joe was in detention 25% of my existence. I got to learn to get better at it, but in our school, any shit, you got 5 detentions. So that you're on detention for a week. And obviously you miss playing footy there.
Got squares, I missed the Ibison, remember that?
Yeah, it's one of those things where I think Gary Neville was a prefect, but also he's one of them where you would have to flush his head down the bog, like you would have to severely bully. I would have to bully him. I would have to bully him for the greater good. Because if he'd have got bullied properly at school, right, and got a good proper bullying, he'd be sound now, and he wouldn't be saying stupid shit like he's just said this weekend, where he's driving around. He's got a 170-gram motor that he's on the phone 4 times this week. Allegedly, that's what I'm told by the papers I read. All right? He's hitched his wagon to the worst prime minister in history. All right? And he's gone missing since he told everybody who respected his opinion to vote for him. He's not said anything about the fact that this fella's absolutely tucked him up. Winter fuel, all that. He doesn't care about Man United, really. Because he's got a Salford thing. Salford is shit. They're emptying loads of money into League 2 and can't get promoted out of it. Peter Lim's fucked off with his money now. I'm hearing that somebody in that fucking class of nonsense is goosing somebody else's fucking camel in the class of nonsense. And they're all, it's like it's fucking, they're pickled. So This fella sits in his big massive house behind the security of Sky and in Isleworth or in the stadiums, getting in the game early and in the gantries, completely and utterly ivory towered up, not having a Scooby-Doo what's going on with the working man, what concerns the working man's got. And 2 years ago, in this very fucking city that we live in, well, just on the outskirts, in Knowsley Sweets 2.5 years ago, we had an issue where young girls were accosted on the way to school, and angry parents went round to confront the people who were accosting them, who were illegally here and were being housed in the Sweets Hotel in Knowsley at the taxpayer's expense without anybody fucking really being aware of it. Now, what we've subsequently found out since then is that's been rolled out right across the country.
Yeah.
And they're getting certain treatments that people who've paid into the system for a long period, working people and elderly people and pensioners have paid in, and they're not getting some of the treatments that are necessary because they're pushed down a waiting list for people who should not be here.
Ex-veterans as well.
Okay? People who've legally entered this country.
Yeah.
They've illegally come. They haven't gone down the asylum route. They've illegally barged their way into the queue into this country. And they label those people far right when they clash with police, and they label those people bad apples. Okay?
Yeah, they do, yeah.
So if they'd have listened there, we wouldn't still be having what we're having here today. We wouldn't be having this, but at no junction as successive governments of Tory and Labour listen to this. And I don't think for one fucking second that Reform and Nigel Farage are going to listen either. It's why at the last election I said, look, I'm just going to spoil my ballot. I'm out. Because I genuinely do not believe in any of these people anymore. We've had the Tories who've robbed the fucking government with PPE contracts, with fast lanes for the mates, with jobs for the boys, with contracts on security, with hotels getting all the payments.
Loopholes for the mates, tax loopholes,
everything. Labour have come in, and all I see is the same with them, but they're now doing it on another space of net zero madness.
Yeah.
And, you know, they've continued this. You know, he's come out this weekend, Keir Starmer, he's kind of celebrating that no one's crossed the channel this weekend. And everyone's like, yeah, that's because it's been Storm Ava. It's been like 70-mile-an-hour winds. That's nothing to do with you fucking toolmaker. A fucking idiot.